Darwin last year, and the start of the remarkable World Solar Challenge, the third running of a race across the burning heart of Australia, from Darwin to Adelaide in solar-powered electric cars. The shapes and sizes of cars from all over the world were eye-catching in the extreme, and none more so than Honda's ultra-aerodynamic Dream Racer. This is their second solar car. In the 1990 race, they were beaten by a Swiss university. But this year, with less sunshine than everyone predicted, and despite a spate of punctures, the Japanese car averaged over 50 miles an hour to win the event and set a new course record. Now, it's not every day a manufacturer allows you to drive such a specialised and expensive bit of kit, so we accepted an invitation to Honda's German tech centre with alacrity. Now, the whole point of the race was to use the power of the sun to push this ultra-streamlined device along. Now, to do that, it needed solar cells to create electricity. 25 square feet of them, all wired together to deliver around 2 horsepower. But that power wasn't enough to win the race. What this car also needed was batteries. When the sun's shining, the solar panels drive the car, and the battery simply absorbs any electricity that's left over. So when the sun goes in, the battery can take over, powering the motor in the single rear wheel. The battery pack makes up a third of the total vehicle weight, so of course weight saving is crucial in the design. They've used carbon fibre throughout the chassis, magnesium for the suspension mountings, and for the ultra-thin wheels with their high-pressure tyres. But of course they couldn't make it too fragile. It had to withstand 2,000 miles of Australian highway. Now this is the point where I get in. Bear with me, this could take some time. That wasn't too bad. Once in, I think the driving position is best described as snug. Control couldn't be simpler. A trigger to go, a lever to stop, and that means nothing for your feet to do. There's not much in the way of rear vision, so Honda have put a tiny camera on the tail and a little TV screen here for you. But even they admit it doesn't work terribly well. So all that's left, put on the windscreen and let's go. Initial impressions on setting off in this somewhat fetal driving position are of complete and utter admiration for the Japanese drivers and the way they coped with the epic marathon trip across Australia with temperatures inside the cockpit sometimes approaching 120 degrees. How on earth did they manage it? It's a very restricted view, and you're acutely aware that with this sort of pillar box slot to look through, you can't see the sides of the machine, and you have to bear in mind you're driving £1 million worth of research gear. There's not very much in the way of suspension movement. You certainly crash over every pothole, and again, you wouldn't want to hit too many kangaroos across Australia. Actually responds jolly well to this throttle. I mean, it picks up speed really quickly. There's a very rough bit of track here, so I better shed some of that speed. Oh, God. Carbon fibre bodywork may be very light, but it does not transmit the noise. When you back off and the machine is coasting, in fact, the electric motor in the back there is working as a generator and is recharging the batteries. They tell me the main problems with driving it such long distances is to make sure you didn't fall asleep. They used to talk to the drivers through the headphones about all sorts of things, what their girlfriends were doing and how life was back home. I can't imagine how you could fall asleep in this environment. It was obviously a great achievement to win that Australian race, but if solar power is going to play a significant role in the future of practical electrical cars, then my guess is we're going to leave those solar panels on our house roofs rather than dragging them around behind us on our cars.